Well, welcome to our Farmer's Friend Classic Pro High Tunnel. It's been a little bit since we put anything on the channel because we've been so busy with this thing. See me after the intro and we'll take a walk through there and harvest a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome to Yellow Dog Farm. Well, this high tunnel is 100 feet long, and since it's the Classic Pro, it's got a lift kit on it that lifts it about 16 inches. It's also got a metal purlin running down the center. We'll show you that in a minute. You can see why that's so important. And then the two additional things that we bought are a trellis kit, and we also bought a shade cloth kit, which you can see isn't up yet, but we'll have it up in the next week or two as we get going. The reason that we chose this location is that it has just the right grade for us to be able to go ahead and drain lines on the ground. We did some additional grading with our excavator, and I'll pause for a second and show you a clip of our friend Joey helping us do that. And the reason that we chose to put gravel down is that we're going to grow hydroponically in this high tunnel. In fact, we are growing hydroponically in this high tunnel, and you'll see that in just a second. So it was well worth the money to put the gravel down and really have some weed control. You'll see that it's not perfect. We do have some weeds, but it's way easier manageable than it was in the past working in our normal garden. So anyway, let's go take a look. We did get the single zippered end walls and put those in. They were pretty easy to install. Just getting them laid out at first was a little bit of a challenge, and we've had them open almost the whole time since we're down here in zone 8B. It's just been plenty warm where we've been able to keep them open. The way the Farmer's Friend Tunnel works is right along where all of the bows are, you drive a piece of rebar down into the ground. And then you just set these bows on top of the rebar. You assemble them, they're all the same shape. They all have the same radius, and they just go together here with some sheet metal screws joining them together. It's on the other side of the arch, so you can't see it. But it's very simple to put it all together. I would say the thing that took us the longest was getting the center purlin in. We had 4 friends help us out. In fact, I'll pop a picture in here so you can see all the folks that helped us. We're so grateful for their help. Once we got the purlin up there, then it was on to getting the plastic over the top of it, which, you know, you really want to have 4 people to help do all that. There. And then, believe it or not, the most confusing thing was putting the rope on that holds the plastic. Just figuring out how it all overlaps. And all of a sudden, where you could communicate no problem, you've got this plastic in the way and you're yelling at each other, trying to figure it all out. So take your time, figure out what's going to be happening, and it'll be all right. At the end of the day, it wasn't all that awful, but it was a little bit frustrating to figure that last part out. So let's go take a look at the plants. So we decided to install 50 feet worth of Beto buckets. They're from Croc King. They're Dutch buckets, just a fancier name for a Dutch bucket. And you can see these guys are just thriving. We are going to add another line down along here. And you can see we've got that fourth line going over there. We just have been trying to chase it all from one direction or another. And we're gonna come down along here. On the left are tomatoes, and then on the right are pickling cucumbers. So far we've harvested about 100 pounds of pickling cucumbers, and the tomatoes are just starting to ripen. We'll go around the corner. I think we've only harvested about 10 pounds of tomatoes. In fact, let's go over here and look at a couple of the big boys we've got here. These are Cherokees. We've got like 5 or 6 different varieties growing, but those things are looking awesome. So anyway, 50 feet of that. And then we've got 30 feet of NFT, and this is only half. I still have the other half yet to build. It actually takes quite a bit of energy to put all that stuff together, but it's just amazing to see how well this stuff's doing. And this morning we're going to harvest some of these mustard greens and this kale because it is just looking flat amazing. Just wanted to pan down here for a second so you can see just how beautiful that romaine lettuce is. We've got about 20 heads and it's just not quite ready to harvest, maybe next week. Sorry if I don't fit all the way in frame, but I think what you really want to see is everything that we have going here. Of course, we got the romaine, we've got mustard greens, Siberian kale, black magic kale, and some Tuscan kale. So we're going to harvest some of the mustard greens and the kale today. This is actually my third cutting of the mustard greens, and they're just booming. If you're not familiar with the NFT system, what happens is there's a small water supply that goes into each one of these channels, and it spreads out into a film, and it's got nutrients in it, so all the plants are able to get nutrients from that channel, and they just love it. So it's going really well so far. I'd say we've got about 200 plants in here. We've got about another 100 that we have sown and haven't gotten in here yet, and then we'll really be booming when we get the other side going. And to give you an idea, we sowed these mustard greens on March 11th, so we're on our 5th or 6th week, somewhere around there, in harvesting. So let's get to it. Look at that. Pretty darn amazing. Beautiful. So the folks down at one of the restaurants we support are going to love that. There we go. 2 trays of mustard greens and got a nice little harvest. We've got 6 different kinds of tomatoes here in the bucket line. So what we tend to do is just take a little cardboard box and put each of the varieties in that box so the restaurant knows what they're getting. Actually, the owner, Jeremy, gave me all these seeds, so I know these are the tomatoes that he wants, but we'll get the different kinds. So look at that beauty. That's a Cherokee, looking good. Well, there we go. Here's this morning's harvest. We got quite a bit of kale and some tomatoes. I couldn't just be more thrilled about this high tunnel and this way of growing. It just works really well for us, and we think we'll be able to grow year round. Not so much with the tomatoes and cucumbers, but definitely with the NFT system and leafy greens. So if you're around the area here in South Carolina near Charleston, you can find us at the Ridgeville Farmers Market, or just shoot us a private message and we'll see if we can help you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you later.